The Grand Rapids Griffins are now 17-1-0-1 as they beat the Cleveland Monsters 4-1, even though they were outshot 32-23. John Leonard scored his 17th goal, and he's played 16 games. This is your 7-Minute Wings. Welcome back to the Red Wings Report with Strings and Pucks. This is Jeremy Laura. If it's your first time here, please click like, please click subscribe. Head over to hockeyhotstove.com where I do the Red Wings column. You can see my latest write-up as well as write-ups on the other 31 teams in the league. So the Grand Rapids Griffins are still rolling. This game, of any that I saw this year, was one I thought the Griffins were they just did not have it. They were outshot 15-5 in the first period. So outshot 3-1 heading into the second. Before Tuomisto's goal, the team really had nothing going. Just everything was disjointed. They were overpassing. They were having trouble getting pucks on net at all. Cleveland had all the momentum. Cossa had a monster performance again. The team figured it out. Tuomisto gets on the board. Then John Leonard scores what would be the game winner. That was his 16th goal. Austin Watson gets a nice backhand goal, goes 5-hole. They're up 3-1. And then all the way at the end, Cleveland pulls the goalie. John Leonard, because the Griffins were on the PK, he gets his first shorthanded goal of the year on an empty net, and that's his 17th of the year. Of those 17 goals for Leonard, 2 have come on the power play. The question is, what is it going to take for him to get a look at this point? Now, I'll step back and say, of course, and some of you mentioned this, Shine should get a look. Shine had a monster hit. Someone was harassing Cossa toward the end of the game. Shine ended up taking a penalty because he just absolutely went through someone. But you're standing up for your goaltender. Michael Brandzig-Nygaard, he was all over the ice and physical. He had 2 assists. Brandzig-Nygaard now has multi-point games in 4 of his past 5. But how can you ignore someone more than a goal per game this far into the season? 16 games played, 17 goals scored. But there's just been no indication that Detroit's going to give Leonard a call. It kind of baffles me a bit, and maybe on this road trip they'll change their mind, but at this point, Leonard's just sitting tight, and if he can just keep this pace up, at some point you think they have to give him a look. The entire team's playing great, absolutely, but what Leonard's doing is something I don't recall seeing, something they've asked him about. Has he ever seen in his career, playing pee-wee, mite hockey, something. This is the kind of performance that you just do not see, and he's putting up these numbers right now for the team. But overall, the Griffins, and the first comment was on the goal scoring reel, was feeling like the Griffins could take down the Red Wings right now. Now, I stay away from that because it's still the AHL versus the NHL. But the Griffins' attitude, when they're being completely outshot 15-5, they're scoring goals when they're being outshot 22-12. It continued that way where there's almost a 10-shot gap as they're scoring their goals. And at the end, they're outshot 32-23. So a 9-shot differential. But the team never panicked. They looked slow. They looked rough in the first period. But they regrouped. Cossa held them in. Kossa's having an absolute monster season. Stopped 30 of 31 because that last shot was on an empty net. So Cossa, just a huge night for him, a huge season for him. At some point, you hope he gets a call up because obviously Gielander can fill in Grand Rapids. So if one of Detroit's goalies go down, I feel like Cossa should get a shot. But Branzig Nygaard, he's really starting to stand out again. He's really starting to impress the broadcast crew and the people on the bench. So here's what I think is going to happen. Leonard has to get a shot at some point. Injuries are going to pile up. But the next person they call up is going to be someone probably who has to back check. And I hope I'm wrong again on this. But that could be Shine or Branzig Nygaard at this point. MBN is starting to put together the numbers they want, and his physicality is what sets him apart. He's starting to throw people around a little bit. And he has the size. They love his size and his shot at the NHL level. They're not sold on, I don't think, Leonard's physicality. Shine has incredible grit and toughness, but he's a smaller guy compared to MBN. So I really lean toward wondering if they're going to give MBN another look here coming up. But I'd really like to hear from you on this. John Leonard has to have earned a call-up at this point, right? 17 goals, 16 games played. Dominic Shine, he's having an incredible year. He showed toughness. He's standing up for his teammates. Michael Branzig Nygaard, all of a sudden, 4 multi-point games in his last 5 played, and he's putting it together physically. He's a former first-round pick, and I do think there is a pressure to make sure that works. So you pick it. Which of those 3 guys is going to get the next call-up, or is it a wild card? Is it someone I haven't mentioned? Tuomisto, it was good to see him get on the board. I'd love to see him get on track and get some more favor with the organization and get a shot. Anyway, let me know who's your next call-up. Did you catch the game? And thank you all for letting me cover the Griffins. You guys have been so encouraging, and this would be a lot less fun this year if I wasn't throwing these games in there. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.